It's what, 9 years ago now, or just over since that happened. Can you tell us kind of what was happening that week before, that 2 weeks before, and then the call that you got, and kind of what the preparation was, and even where the tone was? Because I guess we had
Well,
been looking for Bin Laden for quite some time at that point.
it was to the point where Bin Laden was a ghost, and we're never going to find him. I was I was what we call a battlefield interrogator. So when we would um, take down targets in Iraq or Afghanistan or wherever, I was the guy that was interrogating Al Qaeda, and I would throw him in as a joke, like who are the men in the house? What are their names? Why are they here? Where's Osama bin Laden? And we would both laugh. The terrorist and I would laugh because you're never going to find him. Um, so we were working in Iraq, working in Afghanistan, and I was on my 12th or 13th deployment overseas, and we came back, and I had my guys on a diving trip in Miami, because the one of the biggest threats was pirates in off the coast of Somalia, off the coast of Africa. So we're training there, and we're trying to work on tactics. How do we do this? How do we rescue people? Like my team rescued Captain Richard Phillips from Somali pirates. We're trying to figure out ways to get on some of these ships, and we got a call, and they requested some of the senior guys in my crew to come back to Virginia, and some of the guys that were out climbing in Nevada or whatever. And we went into the room, and they sat 28 of us down, and they said, "This is not a drill. This is real. We're doing this. We found a thing, and this thing is in a house, and this house is in a bowl, and this bowl is in a country. And you guys are going to go in and get this thing, and you're going to bring it to us, and you're going to show it to us." And so we said, "Well, what's the thing?" "Well, we can't tell you." "Okay. Where's the bowl?" "Can't tell you." What country?" "Can't tell you." "How much air support do we have?" And they said, "None." Like, okay, good. At least that's an answer. And that was it. And they wouldn't tell us what it was. We assumed it was to go after Gaddafi in Libya, because that was April of 2011. The Arab Spring had just come up, and it started in Tunisia, worked its way over into Egypt, and then Libya. We assumed we're going to go get Gaddafi. And then that was it. So we started getting our gear ready, and it just started to click that based on the people who were coming here, this isn't Gaddafi. That they found Bin Laden, and they're sending us, and it's basically a one-way mission, and that's kind of how it is. And then even President Obama was really cool during the mission. He actually told us after we finished the mission that I was never 100% convinced that Osama bin Laden was in the house, but after seeing you guys, I was convinced you guys could go in, figure it out, and come back alive. And so that's how he went. It was never the only person that was sure about it was the woman that found him. She was convinced. She's as cool as she looks in the movies or at our 30s. She was awesome.
Huh. And what percentage did you give it in your brain
I gave it 100%.
that he was going to be there?
I knew he was there. There was no doubt in my mind he was there because of the woman from the CIA that found him. There was no doubt in my mind. We would get done training. So we trained maybe 2-3 weeks before we went in there. And every single night we'd be standing over a 2-scale model of his house. And she would simply say, "Osama bin Laden is on the 3rd floor of this building right here. I don't understand why we're not going." And she'd say, "Good night, guys."
Wow.
I was convinced.
Okay. And you were practicing in Virginia on a model of the house?
Yeah, they had a couple different spots where we went to, and they had 2-scale models that we could look at from the outside, because I want to know what the outside looks like that you can tell from above, but I don't want to know what you think it looks like inside because you don't know. So we would train day and night and then go talk about it, and it was actually we had some of the best tactical minds in the world talking about this mission, and we came up with a perfect plan, and we rehearsed the perfect plan day after day after day, day and night. And then one night, one of the very tired bosses were looking at the thing, and he said, "All right, what's the worst thing that could happen?" And the youngest guy in the room said, "The helicopter could crash in the front yard." And we're looking at him like, why would you say that? Why would you jinx us? He goes, "I don't know. We should talk about that for 30 seconds. And that's exactly what happened. The worst thing imaginable happened. And it's one of those things, the only time that the perfect plan exists is in the planning room. Once you leave to execute the mission, Murphy shows up and everything changes. And this one young guy suggested the worst thing that could happen, and that's what happened. but we were able
Wow.
to do it. We were able to take a potentially catastrophic event, turn it into something great because we were prepared.
And it was 4 Blackhawks that went in across
No, we had two.
2, just 2.
We had two Blackhawks that had special technology that I can't get into. And then we had two 47 Chinooks behind us, about 45 minutes behind us. And then we had a couple more 47s behind them because this was not a partisan deal. This was we are going to come fight. And so President Obama actually was the one. I can't give him enough praise. He was the one that decided we're going to bring as much as we can. And there's no way my guys are surrendering to anybody. We're going to fight.
Wow. So
Yeah, it was one of those things where I thought the entire world would come together, and that lasted for a week.
yeah, oh, you mean afterwards? Yeah. And when did you find out it was actually going to be him then?
No, we knew it 3 weeks in advance.
Okay, gotcha.
And there was never high fives or celebrating. It was professionals. We're working with professionals, and it was just cool. Are we gonna go get them now?
Right. Okay. And so then you're ready to go on that final mission, and you had to cross the border of Pakistan, right?
Yeah.
To go in. I mean, that's pretty intense. That's a big decision to make.
Yeah, we had Army pilots flying us, and they don't get enough credit for what they did. And we had Army air crew who they were there to manage the aircraft, but most importantly, they were there to make sure they could open the doors. Because maybe we screwed that up. Imagine 2 helicopters full of Navy SEALs who aren't smart enough to open the doors. Like I always told them, I'm smart enough to carry a sledgehammer and a gun. Tell me where to go. I got this, but I need help with this other stuff. And we flew into Pakistan, and we left from Jalalabad airfield, which is eastern Afghanistan. And normally we would fly from Jalalabad up to Asadabad, take a left, and go into Korangal Valley, the Shuriak Valley, what have you. But this time we took a right. And I remember the pilot came over and said, all right, feet dry, we're in Pakistan. And now we have a 90-minute flight to fly in. And Pakistan can justifiably shoot us down because we're invading their airspace. And I wouldn't even be mad at them. Like, here we come. And but worrying about something that you can't affect, don't worry about it. You're wasting your energy. 90% of the stuff you worry about anyway never happens. So worrying about being shot down by a missile, my worry is not going to stop the missile. So I'm sitting in this helicopter, and I actually had a guy next to me who fell asleep. And I'm looking at him thinking, you were asleep on the ride to Osama bin Laden's house. You have ice in your veins. And I had the dog Cairo, spelled just like the city in Egypt. Cairo was laying next to me. And what I was doing was, we brought one canine with us. I was counting from 0 to 1,000, 1,000 to 0, because keep my mind off of nonsense. And it's a 90-minute flight. 80 minutes into a 90-minute flight, we banked to the south. And I remember counting, and it was like, all right, 556, 557, 558. Freedom itself was attacked this morning by a faceless coward, and freedom will be defended. And I don't know how I thought of it. I have a tattoo on my arm. That exact quote. That's what George W. Bush said on 9/11. Freedom itself was attacked this morning by a faceless coward, and freedom will be defended. And that's when it kind of sunk in. And it kind of hit me, out of body experience, of, wow, I'm on this mission. We're going to kill him.
Wow.
And it just, and I'd accepted death. I'd said goodbye to my daughters. We opened the door 2 minutes out, and just kind of looking around. It's like, this is a resort town in Pakistan. It really is. There's a golf course right there. And this is the Navy SEAL stuff that I signed up for. We're cool. And that's the thoughts going through my head, because I had accepted that I'm going to die. So now I'm just going to, and then everything went to hell. First helicopter crash landed, didn't crash. It crash landed. The pilot saved everyone's lives, because he knew from an updraft that if he overpowered it, he would have killed everyone. He put it down. They set us off in the wrong spot. And my team was supposed to go on the rooftop, and we're going to go top down to get bin Laden. But now my pilot flew up and flew back down, and he was letting us know through effective communications, you get out. So I remember getting out, putting my foot on the ground. I looked down at it, and I thought, well, I guess we just start the mission from here.